Welcome back into Saturday, March 16th in the NBA. My 5 best bets are on the way. Let's recap how we did yesterday, a 1-3 day. Let's talk about it. Our winner of the day was Quickly's under in points, parlayed with Rozier to score 12 plus. Pretty sweat free. I think they both hit their regular overs. We bought a couple points each way. Pretty sweat free. Now let's talk about our losers. We had Victor Wembanyama's over in points. He had 11 in the first half. I swear he did not get like a single shot attempt in the second half till the end of the game. And then the flip-flop for Jamal Murray, he did not shoot in the first half and then started to get aggressive in the fourth quarter, but obviously did not. He scored like 4 points in the first half. Hard to hit a line at 21.5 when you don't do much in the first half. So fine, we lost those two. The one that really pissed me off though was our half unit play, which was about plus 233, was DeJounte Murray's under in points and his over in assists. The assists cashed in like the third quarter. Should have just taken it as a single play. The under in points was looking really good all game long. His live bet, like going into the fourth, was like 22.5. He went berserk in the fourth quarter. We get absolutely wrecked. If you want a system play, here's one for you. If I take an under, which I do have one in this video, plus another one in a parlay, if they suck in the first half, your system, hammer the over regardless of line in the second half, because I'm not getting a sweat-free under. No chance. I'm just not that lucky. The guys just go absolutely nuts in the second half. But either way, look, I know it's been a disappointing, last few days, last week or so. We're going to have bad stretches like this, and I'm just going to keep pushing through it. I do want to put an important note, though, out there for the people. Tomorrow, there's not going to be an NBA video. Not only am I going to be traveling, I'm going to go see my parents who I haven't seen in a while, but also Logan has to leave really early in the morning for a flight, and it's Sunday in the NBA, and we've been on a cold stretch. We're just going to take the day to rest and relax. Hopefully, you're okay with that and reset a little bit, because we've got a big week starting on Monday. We even have, a couple games in the MLB starting. I believe those are the South Korea games. So we got a lot of things coming up on the next week. So no picks tomorrow. Let's hopefully go 5-0. And if we go 5-0, I'm bringing out the broom, you better believe, on Monday morning. But either way, let's dive into the picks today. Not going to promote anything else. Just wanted to put that out there. No NBA video or picks tomorrow morning. So if you're coming in looking for a video, you can rewatch this one and hopefully celebrate a 5-0 sweep. But the first pick of the day will be my best bet of the day. We're going to start with just one unit on all the plays today, but this is my most confident one. It's a guy we just backed a few days ago. Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets, over 20.5 points, minus 110 on BetMGM. Now, if you recall, just a few days ago in his last game, we took Jalen Green's over in points, sweat-free, dropped 37 points against the Wizards. Now, the line did go down a little bit because, well, he's not playing the Wizards anymore. He's playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I think this is a close game, and I think Jalen Green's going to be a big part of keeping this game close. Now, obviously, we've talked about the injuries before, so I'm not going to really go into them too in depth. Alperen Sengun obviously out. So is Cam Whitmore off the bench. And we've seen, in the past few games, just with Sengun out, the last 3 this season, you've seen Green have 26, 16, and 37 points on 22, 16, and 23 field goal attempts. I mean, on the season, he's over this line in 13 of 18 games, 72% when he shoots 15 or more shots at home. We've talked about Jalen Green, not just this year, but last year. And in his whole career, he does a lot better at home, and he's at home here. I mean, we see on his career, he's actually averaging 21.2 points per game at home in his career on 5% better shooting than on the road. You think he's averaging about 17 points per game on the road. I mean, that's just been his theme all his career. He plays better at home, and he's at home here. And while the Cavaliers are a stout defense, give them their credit, they're still banged up. Evan Mobley's out. And when you have Evan Mobley out, you're kind of throwing in other guys in the lineup, like Isaac Okoro. Sure, he's a good defender, but Niang, I'm not afraid of him. And now you got Donovan Mitchell back. Darius Garland's healthy. Their backcourt really is not very good defensively. They're going to rely on Isaac Okoro to play pretty well defensively. And I think that we're going to see Jalen Green get those attempts. And while this isn't a great matchup, I think the volume is enough to carry him over this line. And you look at players have actually been scoring pretty well against the Cavaliers. Over the last 10 games, Cavaliers have seen 22 players at least attempt 15 or more shots. Of those guys, 16 of 22 hit this over, scoring 21 plus points. And of the 6 that missed, all of them really shot pretty poorly. 5 of the 6 shot below 17% from 3 and shot at least 6 or more threes, but some of them shooting 7, 8, 9, even like a 13 3-point attempt type game. Sure, Jalen Green's going to fire it up, and if you're going to predict him to shoot below 20% from 3, go bet on that. But I really think this is a spot we see him get, close to 15, 18, maybe even 20 plus field goal attempts. We've seen him do that plenty of times this season, and I think the volume is enough for him to get over this line, especially with Jared Allen playing some drop coverage. They'll set some screens. Who knows what exactly they do defensively or offensively. Maybe we see Jock Londale play a little bit more, but either way, I really think Jalen Green's going to be aggressive tonight. And if he's not making the shots, whatever, but I think the volume is still a little bit too high for this line, sitting at 20.5. I really think his line should be like 23.5 in this matchup. So Jalen Green really like his over in points. Now, second pick, we're going to a spread. I know you guys asked for some spreads yesterday. Logan obviously took the day off, but he's back with one. And I really like the pick he's got going today. Logan's still dealing with his terrible Florida backwoods Wi-Fi. So I'm going to talk about his pick, but this is all of his write-up, all of his analysis. I didn't change his pick at all. This is what he's rolling with. He's rolling with the Memphis Grizzlies, plus 9.5, minus 110 on BetMGM. Now, Logan is going to the Grizzlies. It's worth noting there are some injury news in here. We actually could see the return of Desmond Bane, who's been out the last few months. Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable. This line could go either way depending on some injury news. We're still betting on the Grizzlies at home to keep this game at least within 10 points. Now, obviously, you're fading an OKC Thunder team, which has been really good this season. And at home, OKC is 22-12 against the spread. Logan's never going to really fade them at home. However, on the road, 17-14-1 against the spread. If you're just looking at them straight up, they're 27-7 at home. Great win rate. On the road, 19-13. They have laid some big eggs on the road before, especially on the weekends. We saw, a few weekends ago, they lost to the Detroit Pistons outright, got smoked in that game. And this feels like a game we could see them lay an egg. I mean, Memphis is not really a team you wake up for, especially given all their injuries. Well, Desmond Bane does give them a little bit more firepower, and Jaren Jackson Jr., if he plays, I think this is the spot we see OKC maybe not try as hard, especially coming off a 4-game home trip. Our homestand, they haven't really played on the road in a hot minute. And look, this is a team in the Grizzlies that have a lot of guys that are going to go out there and try defensively, and hopefully they're knocking down their shots. And you look at the Grizzlies. This is a team that, like I said, if they maybe Bane or JJJ doesn't play, who knows? But this is a team that's going to compete defensively. They are 8th best in terms of opponent 2-point percentage allowed. So contesting all those shots, they're going to make OKC make some tough shots. And the Grizzlies, while they have trouble scoring here and there, the return of Desmond Bane hopefully should help them out there. And on the flip side, OKC, 29th in opponent offensive rebounding percentage, allowing offensive rebounds at a 27% clip. When you're on the road, you kind of have to question how energized this team will be, especially against one of the worst teams in the NBA. Could they maybe be lazy on the defensive glass? Yeah, and we could see the Grizzlies get some offensive rebounds, maybe get some putbacks, and kind of get those extra possessions that you get with that energy and that aggressiveness that you typically play in your front of your home crowd. I think this is a spot we see Memphis play hard defensively, and hopefully they at least make some shots and keep this game probably pretty low scoring. That's kind of what the Grizzlies do. Plus 9.5, a lot of points, especially at home. Hopefully the Grizzlies can at least keep this one close. And if you look at the previous two matchups, OKC has blown out Memphis. So it seems pretty easy to just put OKC in a teaser or take their money line. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe the Grizzlies play spoiler. Let's hopefully get some good luck on the injury news, but Logan really likes the Grizzlies, and so do I. Plus 9.5, his favorite spread pick of the day. Now, our final 3 picks, we're going to have one under, one over, and then we're going to talk about one parlay similar to the one we did yesterday with Quickly. We're talking about the under, though, of the day. It is Tyrese Maxey, under 27.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. Now, I like this at 26.5. Have our unders been cooked recently? Yeah, I mean, the Quickly one was sweat-free. He scored like 10 points, and I don't like this matchup at all for Tyrese Maxey. Now, will he have a lot of volume? Likely, but I don't like this spot here, and we'll talk about why. Will Maxey probably go like 13 of 17? Yeah, probably, because that's just been our luck recently on unders, but eventually it's going to even out where we're going to take some unders. The guys don't shoot a lot, and they don't shoot well. Let's talk about Maxey, though, and the Sixers, who are back at home to face the Hornets. Now, the Hornets, on a back-to-back, played the Suns somewhat tight yesterday, but obviously did not cover in that game. They're on a back-to-back here. They're 10-point underdogs. I'm going to give you a trivia question here. When was the last time the Philadelphia Sixers won and beat a team by at least 10 points? Any ideas? Any clue? January 22nd, they beat the San Antonio Spurs by 10 on the dot at home, and that was a game that Joel Embiid scored 70. Yeah, if you remember that game, yeah, he went nuts. Obviously, Joel Embiid is not here, but them laying a 10.5 point line for the Sixers, who have legitimately sucked over the past few weeks, pretty good indicator that they expect the Sixers to show up. And I think I would not be surprised if this game is a blowout. That would not shock me at all. The Hornets traveling. They've been at home the last few days. They're going back on the road to Philly. Would not surprise me if this is a blowout because the line makes no sense. But let's talk about Maxey, who on the season is averaging 26.1 points per game in 24 games without Joel Embiid. I'm not going to count games where Embiid didn't play or did play because obviously much different game plan. He's gone under this line in 58% of those games, including 7 of his last 10 at home. So at home, you typically see the role players play pretty well. We're talking about the Kelly Oubres, the Buddy Hields, the Tobias Harrises of the world. And we look at this matchup, I don't like it. Charlotte's, if they've done one thing pretty well recently, has been playing pretty well defensively. Now, that not only do they play pretty slow, but over the last 10 games, they've been really good defensively against guards. Last 10 games, the Hornets have allowed the fewest pull-up shots, jump shots made in the NBA. And when you look at over his last 6 games, Maxey relies on 37% of his points per game are coming via pull-up jump shots. If you see him setting they get a lot of screens on him. He's pulling up from the 3-point line. He doesn't get a lot of catch and shoot opportunities. A lot of them are pull-up mid-range and pull-up three-pointers. Well, this is a really tough spot for him to do that against the Hornets. We just saw yesterday, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, all of them soared under the regular lines, and it was because the Hornets are going to try hard defensively and play pretty slow on the offensive side. Now, if you look at over the last 6 games, Maxey did have a game against the Hornets. He scored 33 points. You're like, Austin, I mean, you just put all these stats about pull-up jump shots. He dropped 33 on them. Yeah, that was a game on March 1st. He shot 29 times, did not shoot efficient at all, made 5 threes. Tip your cap to him. He shot 29 times and scored 33 points. Congrats. But you have to look at that game from a vacuum. Kelly Oubre Jr. did not play in that game. They also had KJ Martin Jr. He didn't play, and he's a part of their rotation off the bench. Well, he's not a big volume guy. Having Kelly Oubre and more bodies out there reduced the minutes for Maxey. Now, worth noting, Tobias Harris is questionable here. I anticipate he plays, but in that game too, the Sixers scored 121. They attempted 96 shots, which is a lot, especially against the Hornets recently, and they combined for 235. I mean, look, if they're going to combine for 235 points, yeah, probably not going to take a Maxey under. But the over-under for today, 207.5. So they're not expecting a lot of points here. Also, you look at Maxey's other lines. His under 3.5 threes, minus 170. Heavily juiced towards the under. The books are saying, hey, we really don't think he makes 4 or more threes. We bet that on more often than not, he's making 4 or less threes. And when he's done that, he's averaged 22.8 points per game in 18 games such that where he made 3 or less threes, going under in 78% of games. So, look, we're taking the breadcrumbs that the books are leaving us. They don't think Maxey makes a lot of threes. Not a great matchup for pull-up jump shots. And I think this is a spot we can fade him. I think his teammates have better games here. And I think that maybe they blow out the Hornets. That wouldn't surprise me either. I just am going to fade Tyrese Maxey here. There's just a lot of different ways it could go out. It could be a blowout. That's probably going to help us out. Bad matchup too. Poor shooting game. All those things could go our way. We just have to hope he's not, firing up 30 shots like he did last game. But I just don't think that's going to be Maxey's game at home. So we'll take his under. Hopefully we don't get absolutely burned. But I like the under 27.5 points here today. I really like Tyrese Maxey's under. Now, fourth pick of the day, we're going to dive into an over. We're just going to talk about an over for this guy. And it's going to be the guy in the thumbnail. It is LeBron James. I'm backing his over in PRAs, 42.5 to be exact, minus 115 on FanDuel. I like this at 43.5. I was going back and forth on taking PRAs versus points plus assists. Points plus assists was about 34.5, 35.5. I don't mind that. But on the off chance LeBron wants to go out there and grab a ton of rebounds, I'm going to take the PRAs. LeBron also has a very good rebounding track record against the Warriors. We saw in their last game against them that he played in, he had 20 rebounds. Now, worth noting that did go into double OT, played 48 minutes, but also noting LeBron's been playing like 40 minutes as is right now. Now, LeBron, I really like his points as an individual play, but he's been stuff on the stat sheet too hard for me to ignore that. His last 9 games post All-Star break, all of these post All-Star break, when he's kind of flipped the switch, 27.3 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game, and 9.6 assists per game, good for 44.1 PRAs. He's over this line in 6 of those 9 games. His misses, pretty close, 38, 39, and 40. We saw him coming off of really bad games. You saw him driving on the highway that went viral. I don't know what the heck was going there, but LeBron didn't play well in that game and that loss in Sacramento. They've just been owned by the Kings. But in that game, 18 points. He did stuff the stat sheet. 13 rebounds and 9 assists, but 18 points is not going to cut it from the King. Shot 6 for 16, 37%, something like that. That was actually his first game post All-Star break, shooting below 50%. So I think he bounces back here. The last time he scored less than 20 points since the All-Star break, bounced back for 31, 5, and 13 in the next game. And I just think this is a spot we're going to see him wake up for the Warriors. This is obviously a team's, and LeBron has a lot of history against the Warriors, but also this is a game where the Warriors kind of need to win here. I mean, when we're talking about two teams basically neck and neck in the standings, I think the Lakers are above them by 1 game. The season series is tied 1-1. So you obviously want to win the season series. Technically, winning today does not win it because they do play on April 9th, but you'd much rather have a win here and then hopefully win that game on April 9th too. But then they'll look at the Lakers coming into this game, needing to win. His last 7 games versus Golden State, 43, 50, 49, 69, 54, 30, and 68 PRAs. He had some monster games going over this line at 6 of 7. He's had a lot of good rebounding games. He's been averaging like 17.5 potential assists these last few games. And the Warriors, we know what they've been doing recently. Small ball. They're playing Draymond at the 5. Maybe Trace Jackson Davis gets some run in there too, but like they don't have rim protection at the end of the day. And having no rim protection against LeBron James, Probably not a great recipe for success. If they're going to double on LeBron when he drives, we know he's capable of getting those assists to AD, getting those rebounds and all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped to triple-double today. That would not shock me at all. I don't know what the value is there, but I really like the King tonight. Is over in PRAs at 42.5. It's a high line. I don't take a lot of PRA lines these days, but I'd be kicking myself if I took the PA and he gets like 12 rebounds, and that's what cashes the PRA. So I really like him to stuff the stat sheet, like him to score points, obviously, but I think he gets a lot of rebounds and assists too. So LeBron James over 42.5 PRAs, our fourth pick of the day. Fifth and final pick. I know it's crazy to take 5 picks when we're on a little bit of a cold stretch, but I had some heavy leans here, and I'm just going to fire them off there. Like I said, we're not having any picks tomorrow, so we can count. Let's say we had 3 picks today and 2 tomorrow, and we'll just throw them all in here. This is one that is a parlay. Let's talk about it. 2 legs, just like the Quickly and Rozier one yesterday. There's an under and an over. First under is John Collins of the Utah Jazz, under 18.5 points. And the over is Ayo Dosunmu, 12 plus points of the Chicago Bulls, minus 110 on DraftKings. Now, if you want to just look for individual lines, I like John Collins under. His regular under at 18.5 is about minus 190. His regular line's around 15.5 or 16.5. Obviously, Ayo Dosunmu, his line is not 12. His regular line's about 15.5. I like both of those. I like the John Collins under and the Ayo's over. Obviously, buying a couple points each way. Now, we'll start with Dosunmu, who has had a hit or miss season, but he's had 12 plus points in 11 of his last 15 games. His 4 misses saw him shoot 30% or worse, including last game, 2 for 11. Not a good game for Mr. Dosunmu, but tonight Kobe White is doubtful, unlikely to play. I don't expect Kobe to play tonight, so I expect Ayo to get his volume, and even if Ayo or Kobe White does play randomly, gets ruled back in, we've seen Dosunmu hit the over in a lot of these games with Kobe White out there. And like I said, 12 field goal attempts probably locked in tonight. And if you're shooting 12 or more times, you're probably scoring 12 points against the Wizards. Let's be honest, I could probably drop at least a couple points against the Wizards. That team plays negative defense. They don't care. They're just memeing around out there. So I really think Ayo gets things going again. 2 for 11 last game. I think he'll play a lot better tonight. And while I don't mind his over at 16.5, that line feels sharp. I think he ends around 15 points, but I wouldn't be surprised if he drops to 20 tonight. It is the Wizards, and he's coming off a bad game. I know a lot of people may be targeting DeRozan or Vucevic, but I think Ayo will have some opportunities here. Who knows how motivated DeRozan will be against a team like the Wizards. So I really like Ayo to get us 12. And then the real bread and butter of this one is John Collins fading him. You look at John Collins, he's under this line 18.5 points in 3 of his last 5 without Markkanen. He's hitting the over. He hit the over against the Nuggets and the Bulls. 2 solid spots, for targeting centers where you see guys, they just roll and they get a lot of points. Tonight, he gets the Timberwolves, a tough matchup. Now, worth noting, Rudy Gobert is questionable. I'm praying that Rudy plays, because if Rudy plays, it's going to be really tough for Collins to score. Obviously, if Rudy does not play, you get Naz Reid down there, which obviously is not as great of a matchup, but still Timberwolves team that doesn't give up a lot of points in the paint. That's their defensive strategy. Obviously, Naz Reid, much different than Rudy Gobert, but I still do think that there's a chance, even without Rudy Gobert in there, that John Collins will still struggle. Plus, it is a Rudy Gobert returning to Utah. Maybe more likely than not, he's going to play. He is questionable. And also, the Jazz have a ton of guys on the injury report. I don't know if Lauri Markkanen's returning tonight. He was a full participant at practice a few days ago. Clarkson could be back. Chris Dunn rested last night. He could be back. I don't know. There's a lot of different random things going on in Utah. I think you're going to see John Collins have to shoot super efficiently to go over. Let's just hope he doesn't do that. So I like his under 18.5 points. Not getting a ton of field goal attempts. So I like this parlay. John Collins under, and you got Ayo Dosunmu 12 plus points. I think this is a good one at minus 110. I'll take a stab at it. I think we've got a good chance at cashing that one out. So those are our 5 favorite picks of the day. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully we dominate and get back to our winning ways, which you guys know we are capable of. Just had some real bad luck and just there's some bad picks here and there. I'm going to own those, but some bad luck too. We're finding a lot of different ways to lose. It's not been a great product of NBA basketball the last few weeks, but 5 picks, 5-0, and I will see you guys back on Monday. If you want to go check out our newest New Zealand video's insane. Go check it out. It's linked on the screen. Go show the second channel some love. Subscribe. Got new videos coming out every single week. We definitely got a bunch of MLB stadiums coming up in the horizon. Gonna go tour a bunch of things and hopefully meet some of you guys. But either way, Logan and I back on Monday with some more picks. Let's go 5-0, and hopefully we're bringing out the broom in that video. We'll see you guys then. Peace.